Hey vinyl community, welcome back to another episode of RB's Vinyl Corner. And today I just wanted to go back to those Elvis releases that were released in August. Probably already have seen this on different videos, or maybe you already bought it. But I just wanted to give my take on it anyway, and I will talk a little bit about it. And maybe if you didn't purchase it yet, this video might inspire you whether to buy it or to pass it. And of course I'm talking about the Boy from Tupelo releases. Boy from Tupelo was a box set, a very limited edition box set that came out a couple of years ago and was released by Follow the Dream label. And it focused on all the early recordings Elvis did for his in his Sun period, during this famous Sun sessions. And where it literally all began for Elvis Presley, where his career began, where the legend began. The box that came out through FCD was a big 12-inch sized box set. It was very heavy. It was like a big slipcase which householded a very heavy book, 400 plus pages, documenting everything of Elvis Presley's life between that moment in 1953 that he walked in the Memphis recording service and recorded that famous acetate My Happiness, all the way to the moment he signed the contract for RCA in 1956, or I should say the end of 1955. And it was a very interesting book. It was very heavy. By the time you finished reading it, your arms would have grown twice in size, but it was a fantastic release. And then also in the same slipcase would be a sleeve that householded 3 CDs that has all the masters and all the outtakes that are known to exist of Elvis Presley's Sun recordings. FTD said back in the day that this would be very limited and it would be a one-time only release. So a lot of fans and people bought it because they thought that it would never be released again. But it happened. It actually happened because in August, Sony Legacy decided to re-release it in a somewhat smaller package. A lot of Elvis fans who bought the original were pretty upset about it because you know, they bought that very expensive box set because it would be a one-time only release, and then they still re-releasing it. But me, I'm very happy that they decided to re-release it. Because I had the original box set. The moment it came out, I immediately bought it. But unfortunate circumstances led that I have lost a very big part of my music collection. Not just my Elvis collection, but a lot of vinyl, a lot of CDs, a lot of books and magazines and DVDs. I lost a lot, really a large part of my collection. And one of those things that I lost were the Young Man with the Big Beat box set and this Tupelo box set. So when they decided to re-release it, I was happy, although it is just a shadow, just a small thing of what the actual size was. But at least I have the 3 CDs back in my collection in an original format. So I'm really happy about it. So today I want to talk about both releases that came out in August, and that's the vinyl release of A Boy from Tupelo and the CD box set. And I'm going to talk about the vinyl first. Let me first show you the vinyl LP. You've probably already seen it. This is the one. And there is a lot of people on the internet were complaining about the artwork. A lot of people didn't like it. And I have seen comments coming by that it's a very cheap looking sleeve, that it's very amateurishly putting together, and that RCA took an easy way to do this, and all that stuff I've seen coming by. And I don't agree with any of that. I think this is a fantastic looking vinyl record, and I like it so much that I even consider buying an extra copy just to frame it. I like it so much because this looks vintage. You see, if RCA or Sony or whatever wanted to go the easy way with this, they could have just easily, you know, used the same artwork as the CD, which they also did with all the other releases. But they choose specifically for this release to give it a different look. And although I don't know the true reasons of that, I can guess that it all has to do with releasing a product that would look as authentic as possible. And this looks like an LP that could actually have been released in 1955 if those Sun recordings he did were put together on a record. It might have looked exactly like this, because if you go back to a lot of the releases from the same time period, you can actually see that a lot of the artwork they used back in those days look very similar to this. Most of the time it were combinations of drawings and pictures with song titles on the front sleeve. This really looks very, very authentic and vintage. So it's, you know, I truly believe that Elvis Presley's first album, would it be put together back in the day, could have looked like this. There's a lot of nice details here on the cover, like for example the train here, the mystery train. We have the moon, the blue moon of Kentucky, blue moon. I really dig it. All the song titles are in the stars here, and then we have the Sun logo here. Because if this record would have been released back in the day, it would have been a Sun record, because Elvis' first recordings were actually for the Sun label. Just like all the other releases back in the day, it has a lot of liner notes on the flip side, and in this case also, of course, the track listing. So the sleeve again is a beauty. I really, really love it. The color pink it's exactly representing the 50s, where pink was, you know, a very popular color. So again, I really dig this cover. It says that this is the first time that all the original master tapes are put together on one LP. All the other releases, they were missing a couple of songs, but this is the first time all the Sun masters are collected on one vinyl disc. So there you go. The song titles are on the flip side. The inside of this, it came, by the way, it came with a voucher, so you can download the free MP3. And I'm going to give you the code in a few minutes so that you can download it. One of the first who downloaded has this for free. The inner sleeve has a compilation of pictures that are also in the book that is included in the CD set. And then again, there are all the song titles on the flip side. And then, like all the recent releases through Sony Legacy and FTD, they're using labels that are representing the time frame when the original albums came out. Although this never was an original album, if it would have been an album, then it would have been released on Sun. So they used the Sun label here, but of course they also used the RCA logo there. But this is pretty cool, and it's beautiful black vinyl. I know there's also a colored edition of this somewhere released, but I don't have it. But again, this is the one. Now, if we're going to talk about the sound quality of this record, I have compared this with a couple of the other Sun recordings I have on vinyl, and I can tell you this, it never sounded better than this one. They really did a good job on mastering this LP. It really, really is very, very good. The sound is, I don't think, you know, the last couple of years they have remastered so many Elvis Presley stuff, and they keep continuing remaster it, but I don't think it will get any better than that. I think they reached the limit as far as the quality of the sound goes. And these recordings on this album, there is not a single vinyl edition where these masters actually sounds better than this one. So if you do already have all this stuff on vinyl, but you really want to go for the best possible sound, this is the one to go for. If you don't have any Sun material on an album, then I highly suggest to get this album anyway. I'm a huge Elvis Presley fan. I already had all this stuff, but I bought it immediately the day it came out. It's a fantastic record. I can highly recommend you, and there is nothing negative I can say about this. Again, it's a beautiful cover. I mean, just, it's amazing. All right, so that's the vinyl edition. Now let's continue to the CD box set. Again, it came out a couple of years ago. It was a 12-inch size box. The Sony Legacy edition is a little bit smaller. It's 7-inch, but it has the same artwork. And I don't know, maybe you want to read the sticker. This is the sticker with some information of what is inside this package. And on the flip side, we have all the track listing and some liner notes as well. Again, it's the same artwork, and it's also exactly the same CD. So if you already have the 12-inch, the original FCD release, there is actually no need to buy this, unless you think like, oh, it's nice to have this as a smaller edition, maybe for your living room, and keep the 12-inch big size box set in your music room, or whatever. Maybe you want to keep it inside and don't you know, whatever. But if you want to have a more easy and more smaller package, then this could be the one to go for. You don't have to leave this for the price, because it's ridiculous cheap. Anyway, there are 3 CDs here, and nothing changed in comparison to the Tupelo box set. Again, I lost the box set, but I remember when the box set came out, I immediately made copies of those CDs so that I could leave those CDs inside the original sleeve and just play the copies. And so what I did is, when this one came out, is I just listened to 2-3 tracks from CD 1 of this, and then 2-3 tracks from the copy I have, and the sound is exactly the same. So again, just like the vinyl edition, the best possible sound on all the Sun stuff can be found on this one. It doesn't get better than this. So, and I highly doubt that it will ever get better than that. So the sound quality of this is pretty good. All the masters are collected on CD1, including the acetates. So we got My Happiness, That's When Your Hardest Begin, I'll Never Stand in Your Way, and It Would Be the Same Without You. Those acetates are here as well. Then we have all the masters, and we also have When It Rains, It Really Pours. And then we have some RCA masters or remixes from the original Sun songs. Disc 2 has all the existing or known existing outtakes of some of the songs that appeared on Sun, and also, which is pretty surprising, which I never heard before. For example, were demo versions of How Do You Think I Feel, which eventually would be re-recorded for Elvis' second album for RCA. And disc 3 has all the live and radio performances, and the one that was actually new here, that was released on A Boy from Tupelo for the first time ever, was a newly found live recording of the song Little Mama. So that the first time ever released on the original box set, and of course it's also included in this one. So far, sound quality, content is the same as the original set. If you didn't have the original set, get it, because it won't get better than this. Now let us take a look at the stuff. It is a similar release as the Prince from Another Planet one. It's the same kind of a box set. It has a sleeve which households the CDs and a booklet. And it also has the same problem as the Prince from Another Planet, because if we're going to take this out, although I really love the design of this sleeve that households all the CDs, the way they are household here is very tight. So it's very hard to get these CDs out, and there is only one way to get them out, is like this. So you have to touch the actual CD, which you actually, just like vinyl, you actually don't want to do that. So I'm not a fan of this. I would rather have seen they would be clickable, like here, so that you could take it out easily. But instead of that, they chose to go with the same kind of annoying way of householding the CDs as they did with the Prince from Another Planet. If I remember correctly, all the CDs in the original box set from FCD were all brown colored. And here the CDs are brown and they are also white. So I think that's a difference, but I can't really remember if that's correct. So if any one of you has that box set, confirm or tell me otherwise. Again, like you see me pulling these CDs out, it's terrible. I really don't understand how they could produce something like this. Again, I do love the design and the artwork. That's really great. It's really fantastic how they put this sleeve together to household the CDs. I wish that they would put it here in a different way. So after I'm done showing you this, I'm not going to take them out again. I'm just going to leave them there and play my copies that I still have. But that's the sleeve that households the CDs. And it came with a fantastic booklet. Here is the book. Again, like I said before, the original Boy from Tupelo has 400 plus pages, and this is just cut down to 117 pages. But again, it's a fantastic booklet with a lot of pictures. There's a lot of stuff in here, and it really chronicles Elvis's life between 1953 and the point that he signs the contract for RCA. I'm just going to show you a few pages here and a few pictures. I'm not going to show you everything. If you want to see everything, you have to get the CD yourself. But it's a wonderful booklet. It's worth the price of the whole package alone, is this booklet. So it's a very interesting read. There are a lot of unique pictures here. There are a lot of never before published pictures, and I mean never before the original box set. So everything which is in this book was already been printed in the book by FTD. So that's the booklet, and again you can see this is the same as the inner sleeve from the vinyl edition. Again, I can't say it enough, the sound quality is amazing. Again, really, if you consider the age of these recordings, we're talking about 1954, 1955. The sound, sometimes it just sounds like it was recorded yesterday. It's really fresh, and it's really clear and clean, and it's you know, again, you won't get it any better than it is on these releases. So this is a Boy from Tupelo CD set. For the ones who missed out on the original box set from FTD, this is a must-have package. And then we have the vinyl with this gorgeous, beautiful artwork. All right, now to finish this and to round this video out, what I'm going to do is, if you sit this whole video through, the vinyl video of the vinyl album came with a download voucher, and so you can download the MP3 download. There is no use for me to download the MP3 because I already have the CD set. But if you want to download all the masters, this is a first come first base service. The first one who gets this will be lucky enough to download the whole album. Here is the download code. I'm just gonna leave it here. So the first one who's doing this or seeing this and want to download this can download it. Now don't download this if you already have the CD, so just give somebody else a chance to download the album. Alright, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed this episode of RB's Vinyl Corner, and I will absolutely be back with a new video. There is something exciting I'm gonna do next week that I'm gonna video film for you also, and of course I will be back when the new FTD vinyl edition of Roustabout, which is one which I'm really looking forward to, is coming out. I'm gonna show you that as well. In the meantime, take care and see you in the next video.